Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Upstart Live, right? The e-commerce, the gateway to growth in COVID times. We are very sorry. We had a few tech issues that we had to solve, but now we are here. Thank you so much for joining us. So today's session, we have with us Uma Ranganathan. She's the head of Center of Excellence at Shopmatic. And this is a series that we are doing on SMB month. So we have had sessions around SMBs and empowering them and supporting them. So our last session would be on the 29th. You should check that event as well. Without further delay, over to Uma. Thank you so much, Uma, for being here with us today. We'll just get your presentation up, but please head on with the introductions.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having us share this stage with you, Mansa, and the PayU team. I hope everyone can hear me. I must admit that the delay was largely caused by me, and the tech delay and the tech issues were on our side, and I really apologize for that. There is a thing about Indian customs, right? About taking nazar out when you're planning to do something really, really important. And I hope that with this particular tech issue and this delay, the nazar has gone out and we have a fantastic session ahead of us. I'm going to request my friend Ria to actually share the deck with us on the screen, so I'm able to see that. Ria, are you able to share it for me? Ria, I'm not able to hear anyone. Are you able to share? And I'm not able to see the screen as well, what you're sharing. Could you help me with that?
Uma, just give us a second. We are just sorting that out. Just
no
a second.
Issues. No issues at all. So while we're waiting for the presentation to come up so that we can get started, once again, I want to thank everyone who has made the effort to join this event, live event especially. And whatever platform that you're seeing us, welcome and thank you so much. We are delighted to actually be bringing this particular webinar to you. This is actually a strong collaboration that we actually have with the PayU team, and we've done several webinars earlier with this particular team. And a very interesting tidbit that popped up was that almost exactly a year back, on June 23rd of 2020, was one of our previous sessions with the PayU team, and the topic in that particular session was the future of business, online selling and digital payments. So it was an interesting tidbit that the PayU team and we were just chatting about just before we started going live, and we faced a problem. The interesting bit about it is the fact that here we are 1 year down the line. At that point in time, sometime in June of 2020, the whole pandemic was almost at its peak, and business owners were, trying to adjust to a new way of what was happening around them, which was seriously impacting the way they were doing business because everything was shut. Lots of markets were actually facing strict lockdowns with people not being able to come out. It was changing the way that people were behaving, interacting, and going about their daily lives. And simple things like even paying money and touching money was something which was people were afraid of, which helped to make this big shift in of wave towards digital payments, especially so in India. And similarly, forcing small business owners to rethink how they want to continue doing business going forward. It was not necessarily business as usual earlier, where people would come into your store or you could have a shop to run your businesses. They had to seriously think about how e-commerce or going online or in whatever format it was, whether having their own store or whether doing it through WhatsApp selling or whether going through social media, depending on what they were comfortable with or what they were equipped with. There was a big reset in terms of how they had to start looking at business and make it an integral part of what are the channels, an integral part of their sales channels. So I think in a year's time, a lot of change has happened. A lot of things that we considered were not easy or was taboo has sort of become acceptable and has become the new norm in that sense, right? And people are starting to accept and modify and start doing their business in that fashion, not just as business owners but also consumers. And then consumers' behavior change is a very big part towards how business owners adapt also, right? Because you only if your consumers are not changing, it's very hard for you to change, right? So I think we have the presentation up here, so perhaps we could get started. It's a little small for me to see actually, though I'm on the channel. So bear with me a little bit if I'm not going into the details of the numbers, but it will be very, very visible to all of you as viewers. And we do hope that you find great value in having attended this webinar today here with us, with PayU and Shopmatic, bringing to you this topic on riding the e-commerce wave. The COVID scenario or pandemic has made wave such a common parlance in all of our language, and wave after wave there's only negative news about the first wave of COVID or the second wave of COVID, but one good silver lining in this entire waves of COVID is the e-commerce wave, we believe, and that can really be the gateway of growth for small business owners, and we'd like to share a little bit more about that with you. Ria, I'm going to request you to please move forward. Thank you. So what we will be covering today is a small, a section on understanding, who the small business owners is, some numbers there. Also, looking at the impact of what COVID has reached upon the small business owners in that particular community. How e-commerce, has sort of like modified and changed and really grown. Some numbers on that one to really justify the change that we're seeing around us as business owners. Successful Shopmatic stories. We don't want this to be really about just numbers and facts and figures. We'd love to show you some real examples of small business owners who have embraced e-commerce and on their sort of like success story. We'd love to share that with you. And lastly, of course, we'd love for you to come and try out the Shopmatic experience yourself. And there is a section about how you can go about doing it and how you can take your business and make it e-commerce ready and digitally sort of like get on this particular channel. So that's what we'll be covering today. So let's move on. Yeah. So a little bit about Shopmatic. So we are a Singapore-based company, and we started our business in December of 2014. We were started by 3 co-founders who are all ex-PayPal, and they recognized a gap in the market, especially in the emerging markets, for small business owners to have the ability to go online without having to do any kind of technical mumbo jumbo, etc. So that is what Shopmatic is all about. We bring together the entire ecosystem that a person who wants to start selling online, whether it is an individual or a small business owner, having 5 people or less in their team, or even SMBs who are running small industries in towns, etc., with a few hundred people. We are able to bring you the platform where you can get online really easily with all the integrations that you require to start selling online. We bring world-class partners in every market that we operate in, one of them being PayU, as you know, here in the India market, whom we partner with for bringing digital solutions on the Shopmatic stores. So moving on a little bit more about what is our mission. Ria, can I just request you to change the slide, please? So our mission really is, like I mentioned earlier, how do we take the technical mumbo jumbo out of setting up an online business? Because we believe that there is so much that keeps changing in e-commerce, in the tech world, right? There are new elements coming in, payments or logistics, or even simple things like new technology that is coming to power your online stores, etc. But that should not be the worry of what the business owner is focusing on. The business owner ought to focus on what they do best, which is their business, how to expand it, how to market their products, etc. And Shopmatic takes the owners of enabling our business owners by ensuring that whatever support you require on the platform, whether it is, once again, when I say taking your business online, we are very much dynamic in responding to the needs of our online business owners. It's not just web stores. We also have multiple different ways that we know that business owners want to sell online. So we ensure that on a regular basis, we are ensuring that your businesses are able to sell online with the right technology, with the right partnership everywhere. So moving on, what differentiates Shopmatic from the competition, so to speak, in terms of other service providers? So moving on, Ria. Right. So you will see that we have almost all the capabilities that you as a business owner will require to get a store up online, whether it is already templatized designs for you to design your store or your storefront, integrated solutions for payments, integrated solutions on logistics, the ability to have unlimited products listed on your web store or your catalog for that matter, the ability to process your order, the ability to do marketing much better by doing discounts, etc. So almost all the features that you require as a business owner is available on the Shopmatic platform. So just moving on, Ria. Right. So I want to now focus the conversation about the small business owners and that, and that segment in India, right? So as we know, India is really the country of individual entrepreneurial spirit, right? And there are small business owners in every tier of our society, whether it is urban India or sort of like tier 2 markets, or even if you go down to the small rural areas of India, entrepreneurship is an extremely strong spirit that we have, and small business owners are prolific, and the numbers speak for themselves. About 110 million plus small business owners in India. And
Uma,
yes,
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Some of our audience wants you to talk a little louder. Maybe they
right,
cannot hear you clearly. That's it. Thank
sure.
you so much. Sorry
No
again.
problem at all. No worries at all. No worries at all. Okay, so I hope you can hear me much better now. I am going to sort of raise my volume a little bit to ensure that everyone can hear. So as I was saying, there are about 110 million plus people who are small business owners in India. And in terms of the potential of their buyers, I mean, that's where the real money and the market is 124 billion plus people who are actually able to buy, right? So it is absolutely one of the best sort of like markets that where e-commerce has a large runway or a long runway to ahead of it, and we are literally at a very nascent growth stage. Even though e-commerce has been around for the last decade or so, with respect to small businesses, literally the nascent stage and the huge runway and the huge potential that it offers for small business owners, it's something that everyone should consider. Moving on, Ria. Having said that, the impact of COVID, however, has been very, very sort of like, significant, right? And I think everyone, I mean, all of us as people are also consumers, not just sort of like business owners or office workers. We're also people, and we realize that it has impacted our daily life quite a bit. And how it has impacted is, there's about 87% of our people in working having lost their employment, therefore turning to starting something of their own. So that's one way that is actually impacted, and bigger and bigger sections of our community is, I mean, from buyer's point of view, is resorting to e-commerce, which means, like I was mentioning earlier, it means that you have to rethink how, as a small business owner, you're going to have to embrace and adapt and adopt e-commerce or going selling online as a way, right? And only about 10% of the sales at this point in time is actually coming still from digital, even though there is pandemic and people are buying online and turning. It's still the large businesses, the large grocery marts, etc., which is actually sort of like, siphoning off a lot of the e-commerce play at this point in time. But I think customers are ready for starting now, because it's become a normalized behavior. They're ready for starting to shop with the small sort of like shops as well, right? So that's why there is a huge potential that is available for the small business owners. Ria, can you please move on? So, this is just a quick chart to share with you that about 60% of the Indian consumers in a survey have actually indicated sometime last year, saying that they actually would start buying online thanks to COVID. Nothing really great in terms of the news. I think this is something that you might have seen in many different presentations or in news articles, etc. But I just wanted to share with you again the potential of the mindset that has actually changed as far as the Indian consumer is concerned. 60% is like more than one person out of every two people that you encounter is now ready to shop online. Moving on further, Ria. Right. So in a sense, 2020 has been the big accelerator, right? So the big trends that have come out from 2020 is the fact that, e-commerce is going definitely deeper. And what I mean by that is the consumer sentiment has changed. The consumer sentiment has changed. And also there is a shop in everyone's hand in terms of like, the fact that a device of shopping online is no longer just having a computer. There is a phone in everyone's hand, a smartphone in everyone's hand, and that has become, again, a big sort of like a trigger point for making e-commerce a big change. And the second thing is that e-commerce also going very, very wide. And what I mean by that is the fact that earlier, the travel industry used to be the one thing, and then again it percolated down to very few industries, but now customers are getting more and more comfortable buying even things like kirana material or groceries, etc., from online. And that is truly a testament of how commonplace or how much of a daily behavior it is actually penetrated into. Cash on delivery, used to be the norm in e-commerce, say about 10 years back, but now everyone has a digital wallet. and are happy and are comfortable paying online, and are reassured because they're doing it on a daily basis, starting from paying their auto wala all the way to the sabzi wala. So that these are the kind of trends that have again made it extremely commonplace. And again, like I said, big or small, logistics has amplified a lot. Anything and everything that you can shop online, there is a solution to getting it into the customer's hand. And these are the sort of like trends which have actually really amplified e-commerce. So moving on, Ria, I'd like to just share some numbers and or to justify what we are talking about. So is the potential truly there, right? Let's look at the numbers. So if you look at the number of internet users that we have in India, this is a January 2021 survey, so barely about 5 months back from Hootsuite. It shows us that about 624 million people are on the internet, and they're spending a lot of time on the internet. That's like 6.5 hours is almost one third of your waking hours. People are on the internet for some reason, or they're not necessarily only shopping, but they're getting very familiar with being online all the time. And like I was mentioning, a bulk of them are doing it on having a laptop. And the bigger trend, in our opinion, is the fact that almost everyone, 96% is a huge number of people who are actually having, internet users are actually having a smartphone, because that becomes their gateway or the doorway for actually accessing every single store that they can actually dream of, or wanting to shop from. So let's move on to the next slide. Right. So let's look at the numbers here in terms of the overall population and what is the potential here. I don't want to once again stay too much on these charts. I will just sort of like ask the team to move on to the next slide. I'd like to focus on a couple of other things. Here is like by traffic in terms of what devices. Again, it's just justifying the point that I was making earlier about the fact that the penetration of mobiles and smartphone in everyone's hand is truly the game changer with respect to how much of an impact e-commerce is going to be for small business owners. And that's 76%. Once again, 3 out of 4 people. Let's move on to the next slide, which justifies our next story about the fact that e-commerce and its key facts, right? So let's look at who is actually shopping, what kind of age profile they are in, and and what are they shopping on, right? So what 76% or 77% there actually have actually made an online purchase last month. So what that again means that every 4 people that 3 of them have made a purchase online. That's a big statistic to actually look at, and I will actually show you some more interesting statistics in the next page. The bulk of the age group is in 35 to 44, which is not surprisingly, India is a young country. And let's look at the changing face of the Indian online consumer, therefore, right? So there are again 3 big trends that are actually being very evident over the last few months. It is these 3 things, right? It is going beyond urban. No more of only the cities having the bulk of people shopping online. It's happening in Roorkee. It's happening in Nagpur. It's happening in, and I know that I'm still mentioning only cities' names. It's happening in even smaller towns, Meerut, and all of these places. The second big thing is the gender barrier. It used to be that earlier there was a huge indexing or bias towards men being the ones who had the control of the credit card in their hand, and therefore they would be the ones who would be doing online purchases of any sort. Once again, the penetration of digital wallets has actually neutralized that gender bias, and more women buyers are shopping online. And also not only because of the fact that they have access to payments, but also the kind of things that they're shopping. If you're going to be buying shopping or shopping for groceries, it's a woman of the house who's shopping, right? So once again, once the woman of the house is shopping online for 3-4 times in a month, the next thing that she's stepping onto is buying fashion online. The next thing she's stepping onto is buying other necessaries for the house online, furniture, etc. Right? So those are the sectors that are going to see a huge shift with respect to the profile of their consumers or customers changing. And the third is the blurring of the social divide, right? Again, no more of socio-economic higher SEC1, SEC2 being the one who are actually be the purchasing power, having the purchasing power. Again, the neutralization has happened. People who are in lower income strata also have the devices and the wherewithal with respect to having a digital payment access to be able to shop online. So if your auto wala is accepting payments online, he's also having the wherewithal then to do the shopping online. So again, the customers are getting spread wider and much deeper, removing all of the barriers that we originally used to have, let's say about 5 or 10 years back. Let's move on to the next slide and see some more numbers that actually justify what the e-commerce activities and where it is actually happening, right? So this is where I wanted to get a little bit of focus with respect to, if you look at the kind of things that people are actually shopping for, it's across many different, you can see the numbers are all more than 50%, right, across the board. I would like to just move on to the next slide. Right. Again, the age group wise, we talked about the fact that there was they were shopping between the age groups of 35 to 44. But if you look at the other age groups, it is once again quite significant. It's again 70% plus, 75% plus across all the age groups as well. Here you will notice. So it is once again the elder generation, the older generation are also starting to turn to online for their purchase needs, which is the whole silver market as we call it, because there is a huge segment there who has a purchasing power and they can buy things online, and now they're comfortable doing so. And the second bit is on the other hand side, the younger, the more digitally native youngsters, people who are entering into the job market, people who are not yet entering the job market but are students, they are all digitally native, and those customer profiles who are going to be your customers of the future are also extremely comfortable and confident buying online, and therefore going into the online channel is literally a no-brainer for small business owners if you want to capture that particular market and be relevant to that market as your future customer base. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's look at the categories that they're spending on, right? The big numbers are in music, which is not really a small business owner domain. So let's ignore that for a minute. And let's look at categories like lifestyle, fashion, toys. These are typically the categories where a lot of small business owners have a big play in. And if you look at the numbers there, it's like, already in the billions with respect to the amount of GMV that it's actually being churned in those categories. And like I was mentioning, only about 10% of the, have actually started to sort of like purchasing online. And I think the big categories where there is an opportunity is these categories beyond the groceries and after the big sort of like lifestyle purchases like travel. Everything else in between, fashion, fashion, furniture, clothing, apparel, toys, these kind of normal daily needs kind of categories is where the next big wave is going to happen, and that is a big play for small business owners, and we should all get ready for that. Let's move on to the next one. Right. Again, I think there's some numbers here about what kind of consumer goods they're spending on. I wouldn't want to dwell too much on this one. I think you can see the numbers for yourself. Let's move on to the more fun bits, I think, which is coming up with respect to where are the customers and what are the big trends that is happening, not just in terms of sort of like buying from a store, the big trends that are happening with respect to social media and how that is turning out to be this huge opportunity for e-commerce, right? So it is not about just having your own store, and this is why the shopkeepers or small business owners have to start thinking diversified. Where are our customers? People are spending a lot of time online in terms, on Facebook, on the other Instagram, other smaller sort of like platforms as well. And are you present there with respect to being able to sell online? And are you looking for solutions? Or do you have solutions already for that? I think that's where the big trend is going towards, going for future, because if you look at the amount of time people are spending on these social media channels, it is significant. A lot of e-commerce is actually getting channelized into that particular channel, and which we will talk about a little bit more going further. So let's move on to the next slide. Right. Very important slide for me, because I look at the penetration of any form of digital access to banking or payments, etc. And please note that these numbers look very small because it is a percentage of the overall population, right? So again, we know that again the penetration is not necessarily completely done in rural India, etc. But which to me also indicates that there is a huge runway again with respect to how many more people, if we are on a wave, we are literally at a hockey stick stage of the wave, right? So if we are at about 2% or under 5% in most of these things, even if we take it up to 50% penetration, then that's where the significant next decade is going to be with respect to financial access, to being able to pay online, to be able to transact, transfer money, etc. Right? And that's a huge play that PayU is actually doing in terms of enabling more and more consumers to be able to do these daily transactions. So that's a huge opportunity there. All right, so I think we have lost the presentation. Can I just get that one to come up back again, please, Ria? Thank you. All right, fantastic. Let's move on to the next slide. Yeah. Okay, I think the previous section, we were focusing a lot on what the trends were, what the numbers are, what the statistics showing, etc. And that's all just numbers, are just numbers, right? The proof of the pudding is in actually seeing some real stories, of people like you and me who are actually, turning to e-commerce and making a success of it and not trying and struggling with it. And we'd like to share with you 6 amazing stories that we have actually observed here on the Shopmatic platform of merchants who have adopted Shopmatic and also PayU, by the way, because all these customers actually have a PayU integration on their Shopmatic stores, and how they have actually just started online literally like 12 months back. I even have case studies here of people who have just been online for 3 months, and you look at the numbers of sales that they're actually doing. So let's just quickly go into these case studies and look at who these kind of customers are and how relevant and how sort of like accessible they are. The first one I want to focus on is this business owner in Rajasthan, selling stationery. By the way, he's selling NCRT books and other kind of textbooks, etc. Been with us since April 2020. So obviously, clearly had an issue because his shop must have completely shut down, and was looking for an online channel. Quickly jumped onto the to a solution like Shopmatic, integrated PayU. And if you look at just the last 3 months, the number of orders this particular customer Ashutosh has actually garnered through his onto his store is more than 500 orders in just the last 3 months, right? So huge success story according to us. I want to show you another one going forward. It's actually a Kirana store. Can you move to the next one, please? OO Mart, again based out of Maharashtra, started in June 2020. Obviously a small store. It's not like one of the big brands or anything like that. So someone who's catering to an extremely small, tight geographical spread where they're selling. But despite that, in the last 12 months, they have made a huge success. They've got, because it's a Kirana store, they've got hundreds of products available on them on Shopmatic. We actually enable Kirana stores in a beautiful way because we actually have a CSV file that you can actually download, which is pre-populated with all types of Kirana items already in it, starting from detergents to with images of your vegetables, etc. So you don't have to worry about where am I going to go find good images of tomatoes or of rinse soap or surf excel or whatever, right? So most of the things are already there in that particular CSV file. All you have to do is really put on your price and make the sort of like very customized arrangements to in terms of data or information which is relevant to your store, and you could literally have your store up and running very, very quickly. So you should check that out. But let's come back to OO Mart. They have actually got about 331 orders in just the last 3 months. It's about averaging 100 orders every month over the last 3 months. Let's move on to the next case study. We've got some fabulous stories here. Hamari Chakki, based out of Bangalore. Two women actually, though we have only one name here. Pure passion project. They realized that they actually wanted to serve nutritious food for their families and saw a huge opportunity when their friends and family wanted it. And they actually do freshly milled atta, etc., which they actually package and then sell. Again, they only started in February of 2021. That is barely about 3 months back, if you will notice, and they have already garnered or close to 300 orders in just the last 3 months. A huge success story. You should go check out their website if you have it. It's called hamarichakki.com, I think. Or definitely if you go look for hamarichakki.myshopmatic.com, you will definitely discover them. You should see what they are doing. Let's go on to the next story. Preview. Beautiful story based out of Haryana. Priya sells on not just having her own store on Shopmatic, she also sells on marketplaces. She's actually a small business owner, not a passion project. As you can see, she's got packaging done. She's actually got a good brand going. And having tasted success on marketplaces, now realizes the value of having her own store, right? Because on marketplaces there are sort of huge audience, huge visitor traffic, but also big margins are get eaten into because of the commissions. And she sees a value in building her own brand, having her own store, being able to talk directly to her own customers, engaging with them, and building a relationship. And that's why she's come to Shopmatic. And you can see, just having gone on and sort of like really, though she was, she started the store in December, she really started working on investing in driving business on her web store very recently. And just the last 3 months, again, she has garnered more than 160 orders, as you can see, on top of what she already sells on her marketplaces. Let's move to the next couple of stories that we have to share with you. Nemi Chenjwels. This is actually a traditional business owner, right? They've been in business for 20 years. If you go visit the website, you can actually see that they're a traditional business. They're a couple of generations into the business, but now they have seen the opportunity of selling online, a new sort of like way to talk to new customers, sell smaller, like value silver jewelry. And this is silver jewelry, right? This is not like fashion jewelry. And how they can connect directly to customers and sell to multiple markets across beyond just where they are as a physical store. And they've adopted online as a additional channel to sell. And in just the last 3 months, they've got close to 150 orders, as you can see. So again, a beautiful looking store. You must go check it out. Look for nimichandjewels.myshopmatic.com. Moving on to the next last story that we have is actually Nelly Foods, packaged foods, small business owner, again from Bangalore. Started the business or started the online store only in December 2020. Again, very, very young in the online journey, and have sort of like really gotten all of the items in a row with respect to the distribution, the payment solution. Like I was mentioning, almost all of these case studies that I've shared with you actually have integrated PayU also as a payment solution, which has actually hugely enabled them to service their customers and take prepayment for their orders, right? So that's a big sort of like a factor that goes into successful orders online. And coming back to Nelly Foods, they have got close to 100 orders in just the last 3 months as well. So these are the case studies that we wanted to share with you, because like I was saying, these are real customers, real stories, which are very much like you and I, who have adopted the Shopmatic and the PayU solution to make a success of their e-commerce business. Let's move on to how you can now go forward and actually also look at adopting the Shopmatic solution to start your. Oh, we do have one more story. Sorry, we have Sri Manjunatha condiments stall. Oh, this is also a fantastic sort of story. So I've actually spoken again to this particular customer. Traditional business, they sell chakna and all of that kind of sweets, like Sri Krishna sweets kind of a store. Started in May 2020, and it's a second generation who saw the opportunity when the pandemic struck. And while they continue to run their sort of like offline store, they are steadily opening up their online sales, is what this particular customer shared with us, and they've got about 60 odd plus orders in the last 3 months. I think this is absolutely the last case study that we have here for you. Let's move on and see how you can actually go about setting up your own sort of like Shopmatic store or catalog, and how you want to sell, because we actually offer an opportunity for you to sell in any way that you actually want to do e-commerce, right? So as I was mentioning earlier, selling only through your online store is not the only way. It is definitely a great way, and we enable you to do that. But we recognize that people are selling, or small businesses are adopting ways on chat, on social media, on marketplaces, and all of these solutions are catered to, and you can have all 4 options at the same place in one account on Shopmatic. So let's see what the benefits of going on Shopmatic are. Just like to quickly touch upon the various features that we actually have to help you. Going on to the next slide. Right, so here we're talking about how you can actually sell on chat. You can easily build a catalog using a Shopmatic account. Unlimited amount of products can be uploaded. You have the ability then to connect that particular store, take checkout links, or even share product details from your catalog using your app. You just need to download the Shopmatic app, and using the app, you can start sharing your product details or payment checkout links to actually make a purchase of that particular product using your Shopmatic app, using taking payments immediately on PayU, and you can distribute that virally to any social media or chat avenue that you have. So if you're online, if you're on Facebook, if you're on WhatsApp, you're on Messenger, you can comfortable on Telegram, which is a new thing that a lot of people have adopted now in lieu of WhatsApp for selling as well. So you can actually share these links across multiple chat channels, and that's the beauty of what you can do with our checkout links. It's a single checkout link. And it can once again be viral. That link will work across anyone's device. And you send it to me, I can send it to 10 more people, and whoever receives it can actually click on it and land on your catalog and make a purchase. So that's a facility that we offer on Shopmatic. What do we offer next on social? Well, let's quickly go into that and see in the next slide. Right, so if you already have some, you sort of like built a presence already on Facebook or Instagram. A lot of these, channels are also enabling you to do e-commerce, but what they do not offer you is a way to do logistics or the way to take payments on that particular channel, which means that you still have to take your conversation offline, talk to the customer who's interested in buying your product, and in that particular gap, sometimes sales are lost, right? So that's where Shopmatic steps in, and by having a Shopmatic catalog and connecting that to your Facebook store, you will then easily be able to direct your followers to whom you are regularly engaging by doing posts every day. And you can once again, like I was mentioning about the single checkout links, they can be shared on your posts as well, and customers can click on those or come to your Facebook shop, and when they click on your catalog in the Facebook shop, they just land right onto the your Shopmatic catalog. And because you have an integrated logistics or an integrated payment, it's an extremely seamless experience for your customers, and you can close sales much faster using the Shopmatic solution. Let's move on to the next offer that we have, which is integrating onto marketplaces. We do recognize that is this about marketplaces? Yes, it is about marketplaces. We do recognize that marketplaces is an extremely viable and popular way that a lot of small business owners want to sell. Definitely, because marketplaces take care of your traffic solution, right? Hundreds of thousands of people are coming onto Amazon and Flipkart, etc. So you want to definitely be a part of that particular ecosystem and sell. And Shopmatic offers you the solution of creating an account and being able to integrate into these marketplaces, specifically on Amazon, and then being able to transact and manage and monitor your sales, which is happening on these marketplaces very easily by just connecting your store onto Shopmatic, and then sort of like running your business very, very smoothly. So once again, this is a feature that we offer in India as well, connecting to Amazon. Let's move on to the next one, which is how you can actually create your own store on Shopmatic. Of course, that is the primary offering that we have. And this is a solution that a lot of us small business owners are looking for, to create their own brand, to create their own store, to be able to direct people to that particular store to start buying, right? So we have 60 plus pre-designed templates. Depending on what category you are, you can choose existing templates, you can modify them. It's almost like working with Lego or building blocks. You can keep the blocks that you want, take out the blocks that you don't like. You can completely customize those blocks by putting your own images, writing your own copy, and then like I was mentioning earlier, unlimited amount of products can be uploaded. And we have a whole suite of features available for you to be able to do marketing better, with respect to whether it is improving your SEO or connecting to your Facebook store, like I was mentioning earlier, or being able to offer discounts specific to some customers on certain categories only, or offering it across a whole store. All kinds of features that you require to start pushing sales and bringing more customers and converting that visitor traffic to sales. The ability to connect to Google Analytics, almost everything that a small business owner needs with respect to technology that needs to be present on a platform is available on Shopmatic, and you can actually get started. We know many store owners who have moved online and set up their business and creating the store in like 48 hours because they already have the assets. So what exactly do you require to actually get started and really moving fast by setting up a Shopmatic store? That's what we'll get into next. So let's move on to the next slide to see that. Next slide, please, Ria. Yes, fantastic. So we've sort of like helped this conversation by segregating them into 4 buckets with the things that you need to have ready, or at least start thinking about with regards to your website itself, right? Your store. Do you have a name for it? Do you already have a logo? Because you need to, as you're creating a store on your design, you need to quickly put up a logo. These are all sort of like best practices, so you must have these things ready. And images, if you already are on social media, if you already are selling in via chat, you're likely to have images ready. So if you have those things already available, it's very easy to actually get onto our product listing platform and literally upload your images. We allow you to upload up to 4 images so that you can show a variety of close-up shots in a range, or just a product in its own, or some details about the product, etc. So these assets, if you have it ready, it becomes extremely easy for you and very quick for you to actually set things up very quickly. Now, related to the product itself, if you already have in your catalog, as business owners, you may have information ready on product title, product description, what is the price of the product, what is the original price, what is the selling price. This is the kind of information, again, you should have. We also enable, as I was mentioning earlier, Certain categories like Kirana store owners, if you already have this information ready, we already have a CSV file that you can download, and it's literally like an Excel sheet. You can just quickly populate that sheet and upload it back, and your store using, having hundreds of items in your Kirana store is ready to go in a matter of minutes. With relation to operations, like, how are you planning to operate? Do you have an account with a digital payment solution like PayU? What is that particular account? Do you have a solution, logistic solution already planned? What is that going to be? Just have all of those things ready. Sometimes you should have these ready, and that's when you should start, is what you feel. But sometimes you just need to have one or two of these, like site related information, product related information, and as you go along, the Shopmatic team helps you to identify also the operation related information. Like I was saying, we have an integrated solution with PayU, so you can literally come onto our site and create your PayU account, from the site itself, and sort of it's much more very, very quick, just a few steps to get it done. Similarly, with our partner in India for logistics, Shipyari is a solution that we offer as an aggregator. So even if you don't have these solutions ready, you can come onto the platform and get going very quickly. The last bit is about your brand, right? You're a small business owner. People want to connect with small business owners, know their stories, know a little bit about you, and which is why they're choosing to purchase from you and not purchasing from a big player, right? So these go a long way in creating a connection, a relationship with buyers. We think having simple things like your terms and conditions, policies will enable you to offer an extremely smooth um, user experience for your customers. So there is a lot of clarity in when they want to make the purchase. Enable WhatsApp, which is a feature that we offer on the store itself, so they can connect with you easily. So these are the sort of like brand related things that you should think about and sort of like prepare for. And even if you don't have them ready up front, please get started, and we have a team of consultants readily available to serve all of our customers on chat and on calls, who can get you going and help you set up very, very quickly as well. So this is what we feel you can actually do in terms of readiness. Now let's quickly jump on to the next section and see how many steps it is going to take you to actually set up your store, right? So it's very simple. Go on to goshopmatic.com. You will find easy access to sign up on. You can see the arrows pointing to them. You can download our app. It's available for both iOS as well as on Google Play Store, on your both of them. You can download the app and then you can access it that way, or you can quickly sign up if you're using on a goshopmatic.com itself on the browser or on the web mobile browser itself. You can do it. So that's step one. Once you click on that, what you're going to encounter in the next step is going to the next slide. Right. So you will encounter these screens, which request you to select your country. So and then choose. After you've chosen your country, it's a very simple process. You put in your phone number. You will receive an OTP, which is the way that we actually verify your account and link your account to. So once you've done that, we move on to step 4, which is in the next slide. Right, you need to set up your profile. Simple questions to ask, and for you to share with us things like what's your name, what's your, where are you located, what's your business name, etc. And these things are changeable later. So even if you don't necessarily have a business name ready at that point in time, it's okay for you to give us an indicative name and sort of like move forward. And then what we will, the next step you will encounter is a simple 3 questions. Which help us to understand you a little bit, so that we can actually customize your experience as you land onto the actual dashboard on Shopmatic. We request you to share a little bit about whether you're just starting, what business category you're in. If you're already selling online, just give us a little bit of information on that. And then it literally takes you to the dashboard, which is in the next slide, wherein you then see, there is actually a way for you to then quickly choose what is the first channel that you want to actually set up. We talked about the 4 ways to e-commerce that Shopmatic allows you to do. Do you want to sell on chat? Do you want to sell on social? Do you want to sell on marketplaces, or do you want to set up your own web store? So once you've selected this, you'll literally land on the dashboard. I would like to reiterate that selecting one of this does not mean that this is the only thing that you can set up. This is just the first selection that you do. After you have set up the account, you can always go back, no, it's not necessary even to go back. I will show you the dashboard slide, next one, which then shows you how you can immediately toggle from one thing to other. Pay attention to the menu bar on the top, which shows you all the 4 channels again. So we have an extremely responsive, interactive dashboard. You will see there's 6 boxes. which will quickly tell you what are the steps that you need to take to actually set up this particular store. And as you keep completing them, it'll it'll give you a little checkbox so that you know that it's done. And once you're done, it tells you that you're really ready to get going. We also have very handy access to our blogs, very handy access to other ecosystem material that we give you access to, like if you're wanting to speak to someone or read about a particular article or a particular topic, all of those blogs and access is also given in those little images at the bottom. So it's an extremely interactive dashboard which helps our customers to be rather self-sufficient actually. And if you need further help, you will see that little icon at the bottom right hand corner, which is a chat icon which you can use to chat with our consultants who are available during business hours on almost every single day of the week. So moving onwards to the next slide. This is our plans. We actually have a subscription plans, as is common in this particular space, and these are the numbers that you can see with respect to how much you have to pay for a subscription plan. We also have something called the transaction model, which is a unique thing only for Shopmatic, where you only pay for the on a monthly basis an amount for using our platform. And then on top of it, you pay a 3% transaction fee. But I would like to draw your attention to the bar right on top. We are currently having a promotion countrywide, valid up until August 31st, wherein there is a 3-month moratorium on the payment of the monthly fee also. So, if you're signing up for an account right now with Shopmatic, you do not have to pay any monthly hosting fee of 50 rupees for the next 3 months. And you can continue building a store and taking the support of our consultants, and even start selling. I mean, there is absolutely no limits to that. Only when you sell, you pay as a 3%. And if you continue to just build your store, then or your catalog, that's fine too. So that's the Shopmatic offer at this point in time, and I would strongly urge everyone to avail of it. Moving on to the next slide. Really? Yes, absolutely. So that brings me to the end of this presentation, actually. So thank you so much for your attention, and more importantly, putting up with our 15-minute delay right in the beginning. There was a little bit of a glitch, but I think that we hope that it has been worth its while, and you have enjoyed the presentation that we have brought to you today in partnership with PayU. And you can sign up right away on goshopmatic.com or use this particular code there, barcode there, to actually scan and download our app and immediately set up your Shopmatic account. And we look forward to welcoming you on the Shopmatic platform and supporting you throughout your e-commerce journey, in whichever way that you actually want to start selling online, whether it is through a store or even through multiple channels, not just one particular way to e-commerce. All 4 ways to sell online is welcome, and we have the full team ready and available to support you on the particular journey. So I'm going to ask now for questions, and there may have been questions that came our way as I was speaking, and I'd be happy to address them as we go forward. So I think, let's see, are there any more questions? All right, so fantastic. So if there are any questions for us at this point in time, would be a great opportunity for you to type in the message box, and the team is on standby to share it with me, and we'd love to take those questions. But as we're waiting, I'd like to thank the PayU team for this wonderful opportunity, for making us a part of this valuable SMB week that you're running and this roadshow that you're running, multiple webinars that you're bringing. I do hope that you will join the other webinars that the PayU team is bringing for you as well. And we do hope to continue our relationship and bring more webinars in partnership with you and your team, PayU.
Thank you, Uma. Thank you for that. This is to the audience. Please do post in your questions. Uma will pick them up for you. If you have any questions for the PayU team as well, we have Ria on standby. She will answer any questions that might come regarding the partnership and otherwise. Uma, would you want to speak about the offer again? Maybe that would really help.
Oh. Wonderful. Yes, of course, of course. So once again, what we're running right now, this is actually called as a program called as Inspiring Entrepreneurship that we periodically run in Shopmatic to support small business owners. And as a part of this particular promotion at this point in time, it started in early or 3rd of June, early June, right? So we're about 20 days in right now, about 3 weeks back. And it is available all the way till 31st of August. Whenever you sign up with Shopmatic in this particular period, you will get 3 months of no fee, no hosting fee status. And what that means is that from the date of your sign up for the next 3 months, you will not have to pay any hosting fee. You can continue to use our platform and avail of all the features. We do not block any feature to our customers. And you can choose to, of course, subscribe in this particular period, because subscription brings its own value. We offer a lot of support to our subscribers by giving them access to our consultants, special sort of like training sessions, etc., bringing exclusive webinars, etc. But if you choose not to and you want to sort of like stay on the transaction model, then you can continue to just use the platform, build a store by yourself. And when you start transacting and bringing orders is when you actually start paying Shopmatic a 3% transaction fee. And that's our offer at this point in time. A lot of customers have availed it. I'm looking forward to bringing some great success stories here. So I think in the message box, you will see actually the link that you can actually click on to actually jump onto that particular promotion page and sign up for it. You can click on that and go there, or just download our app. I think one of our questions was about, does a sign up mandate an app download or browser options available? We have a question here from Subramaniam. So no, so you can start straight away, just sign up using the mobile browser or the browser version on your laptop, and you can just build your store through that. In fact, it's a great experience doing it on your browser. The app actually is a companion app. It actually helps you to run your business much better on the go. It's mobile, right? So you can see orders on the go, you can process the orders on the go, etc. And you can do the payout links and the checkout links, as I was mentioning earlier. That's something that is supported by the app, and we therefore strongly urge all of our store owners to definitely download the app when they are running the business. Definitely. So that's a way to actually use the app and the browser solution. And for those people who do not have a browser opportunity to sort of like build a store, then definitely, especially in door-to-door, we encourage them to download the app and use that particular route to create the store, because even in that, it's a great solution for you to create your catalog very easily. The very responsive app to actually build your store. That's what you can do. So, right. Any other questions? You're welcome, Subramaniam.
I don't think we have any yet. Maybe we wait a few seconds before we close in.
Definitely. Well, if there are any further questions at any point in time, if not today, we'd love for you to write into Shopmatic, and we'd love to answer that. You can actually go into goshopmatic.com and not just sign up for an account, but also see lots of other resources that we have there that could help you to understand a little bit more about what we have on offer, and other sort of success stories that are there, which could encourage you to actually download and sort of like sign up and set up your own store with us. Do also check out our Facebook pages, our handles on we have handle on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as on YouTube. I would strongly encourage you to go and check them out also, to find more information and knowledge about what Shopmatic can do and does for our customer base.
Riya, would you like to take the question from Subramaniam for PayU? I have brought you back on.
Hello.
Hi, Riya.
Hi, Uma. Great presentation. We enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you.
To answer to Subramanian's questions, we have a couple of settlement cycle options available for Shopmatic merchants. We specifically provide T+1, which is next day settlement, exclusively for Shopmatic merchants. So if you need it, please feel free to reach out to us. And no, there are no fees applicable. We only charge TDR on the various payment instrument, that is credit card, debit card, and net banking. So currently we are not charging any fees applicable. That answers the question.
Fantastic. So what's the next webinar that you all are hosting after this?
So next one is tomorrow. It's we are discussing dialogues of pride, that is diversity and inclusion at workplace. So we hope to be addressing concerns plus conversations around diversity as a whole. Hopefully, we are able to help relate with a lot of people out there and bring about changes in our own organization and others. So yes, so that's for tomorrow, and then there's a conversation around how to tackle the third wave, at least for India, given we are hearing news about that, the impending wave coming in. So there's a doctor who has been a frontline doctor since the first wave. So she wants to just talk about how what are the do's and don'ts, and to stay out of danger, at least if it were to happen to us. And then a last session around SMB month to close. We have one of our senior product managers, Ashish Bhatia. He's coming in to just talk about how to the benefits of a no-code system. That is to talk about how PayU works and everything else. So yes, that's how we will close a month that
Impressive
had
lineup you
10
all have built
sessions.
through.
Yes, yes. So
Impressive
this
lineup.
would be where we have had 10 sessions after a while. So hopefully every one of everybody's concerns are answered, be it business, be it generic, be it inclusion, conversation. So yeah, this month would have been a very fruitful month at the end of on 29th.
Absolutely. And here we are, the halfway mark of 2021. So
Yes.
yeah.
So I
It's
think
very cool stuff.
we are good, Uma. We have questions. We have answered them. I think we can now end the session. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for bearing with our delay. We could have started on time, but the delay came in much later, and that is why the issues happened later as well. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Uma, for being a part of this. We always have great conversations whenever you come in as a speaker. We truly enjoy having you here. Thank you to the Shopmatic team as well. Special thanks to Shahnaz. She's been answering the questions on as well. Thank you so much, Shahnaz, for this. And thank you, Ria, and the partnerships team of PayU for supporting us and helping us have this session here. Thank you all once again. You have been a great audience.
Thank you again. And once again,
Thank
just to add to Manas's, thanks for bearing with the delay.
Thank you.
Nazar utar gaya, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Mansa. It was a great session.